Yeah.
Let's talk about the Guardians, though, guys. A shutout win over the White Sox. Bull, you said they had to sweep the White Sox. They've won the first two, and they're playing some really good baseball.
I almost never say in baseball, because it's baseball, you got to sweep a series.
Yeah.
But they have to sweep the series.
Oh, there's no question.
The White Sox are not just a baseball team. They're the worst team in the history of the league. And the Guardians, until this series, were 5-5 against them. Which is insane.
It was one of the craziest stats all year.
Exactly. Where every other team in this division has just killed them. The AL Central has 4 teams over 500, and yet as a division they're under 500 because of the White Sox.
They could have 4 teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think
Tigers
ultimately Detroit will well, probably not, because they can't have 4 teams, because if Detroit gets in, they're going to get in over Minnesota.
Why?
Because Baltimore and the Yankees are both getting in. There's 3 wild cards.
Yeah, but one of them's going to win the division.
Right.
Oh, yeah, the other one then, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, they can't catch them.
But the fact that Detroit's played great, and they're still in it.
Playing
quiet, completely under the radar.
They're playing the best
Detroit
baseball.
pitching. Look at their pitching for the last 5 weeks. It's been lights out. And it's from... They drafted Casey Mize high. He hasn't done anything. It's all these guys that have come out of nowhere, led by Skubal and a bunch of young guys. But the Guardians have to sweep this series. And by the way, after this series, they only have 3 more road games. Everything else is at home. They play Tampa.
Wait, the rest of the season?
Outside of 1 series.
St. Louis.
So how many games are what's the Guardians' record? They're 22 over, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to stand in.
Bring up the stand. Okay.
21
so the Guardians, 145, have 17 games left.
They only have
4 road games of the 17.
In St. Louis?
They have today against the White Sox, and then 3 in St. Louis. They're home for Tampa Bay and Minnesota.
And then they come home to end the season.
At St. Louis, and then they come home for Cincinnati and I think Houston. So, and those 2 series, Tampa Bay and Minnesota, are both 4-game series. So they have, I believe, I think it's 13 of their last 16 after today's White Sox game at home, where they've obviously been much better.
Where are they at in track for the top seed?
I believe they're a game behind. Did the Yankees win yesterday? I can't remember.
I think they lost. They got caught.
So I think they're tied.
They have the exact same record.
Now the Yankees have the tiebreaker,
they do.
But right now they're tied. And more, I think getting the 1 seed is very important.
I agree.
Talk to me about positioning for like the home field and things like that. For
so
the playoffs.
That's it. Right
if
there,
you're the one and if you're the 1 and the 2, you get a bye.
Yes.
And
if you're the one, you get the DS at home.
Right. And the CS
and if you win,
home.
you get the CS at home.
I think it's most important against the Yankees.
Yes. I agree, because we do not want to go there.
I do not want to play a deciding game in Yankee Stadium.
I don't either. We're haunted by that place. Yeah. Haunted.
Yeah. And listen, I don't think the Yankees are that great. I think the Guardians, when they're playing their best, are as good as anybody in the American League.
You know the deal, Bull.
But I think the Yankees are the most dangerous team.
It's the pinstripes, man.
There's something about the pinstripes.
How about Cantillo? What's crazy is when they broke spring training in Arizona, all of those pitchers are gone except for Lively.
Right.
Carrasco out.
Bieber hurt.
Bieber lasted 6 days.
Yeah.
McKenzie's in the minors. Allen's in the minors.
He got this. Did you see his line his last start?
I did.
By the way, McKenzie pitched well out of the pen. I've been saying for a month I want to see him pitch out of the pen.
And I have not written him off as a factor in this race.
Relief pitcher.
Bring him in. Use him as a 6th, 7th, 8th inning guy. You know?
Yeah.
Use him in there.
Yeah, when he doesn't have to worry about, I got to pitch for 5-6 innings.
I need the rotation right now.
Well, Lively got hurt. I don't know what his status is.
I don't know what his status is.
I don't think it's
either.
serious. But
it looked like they said it was a contusion.
Yeah.
Boy, that was scary when it happened.
Yeah, boy, got smoked.
Because I've taken a couple of those. When you take them off the bone, there's easily a chance of a break.
Yeah.
It hit square in the leg.
Yeah.
So it's probably a deep bruise. He's going to feel it for a couple of days. I bet he doesn't miss a start.
Okay. I mean, right now, Bibby's pitching game 1, obviously.
Bibby's your starter.
I think Matthew Boyd's got to be game 2.
Well, or
today, right?
is it? I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure that it's Boyd.
Well, Boyd's been their second best pitcher for the last month. Maybe their best pitcher for the last month. I mean, he's been phenomenal.
I'd argue their best pitcher, Bull. For the last month, he's not better than Bibby. For the last month, he's been their best pitcher.
Well, look at his numbers, for crying out loud.
That's what I'm saying. For
He's
the
been
last month,
ridiculous.
he's been better than Bibby.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said for the last month he could be their best pitcher.
I'm agreeing with you. You said he might be. I'm saying no, he definitely is.
Yeah. So I thought when everybody was right that Lively would actually go to the pen because I think he's got the worst stuff of the 5. Gavin Williams is so unpredictable. But the thing with Gavin Williams and why I'm going to start him in the playoffs.
Ooh, are you?
I am because he's ultimately got great stuff.
Yeah.
And
God, he's not.
He might slip
so
up
far
and be
this
nice
year.
one day.
But here's the thing: In the playoffs, you go to the bullpen in the first inning if you have to.
Yeah, that's true.
And Gavin Williams, with every start he's had this year, you've known right away if he's got it or not.
That's a fact.
And if he doesn't,
you get rid of him.
And if he does, well, he can go 6 innings.
And then
pitch
if you
well.
do have to go to Lively out of the pen for a bullpen game,
because he'll be on the roster. But we got to see. Lively got hurt. We'll see what his status is. Cobb's been dealing with blisters for the last month.
Cobb's going to be okay.
I think he'll be okay.
I literally was thinking that Cobb would be my number 2. When Cobb, the other night when he was perfect through 6, the other day, his stuff was A+.
Oh, yeah. Cobb, listen, Cobb and Boyd have both been fantastic additions.
Unreal.
And I didn't, especially with Boyd, I didn't see it coming because he hadn't pitched particularly well for a while. But
Cobb coming off injury, we didn't know.
If they're healthy in the rotation and pitching well, which has been up and down, with their bullpen, they're going to have a shot. Some of the top of the hitters are starting to come around. Obviously, they need more from Quan. Jimenez has been better lately.
Did you learn anything from the Dodgers series? I learned I can't pitch to Shohei Ohtani.
Wow. Yeah. I mean,
I can't.
Nobody can.
It is crazy.
And he's one of those guys that I would absolutely have no problem walking with the bases loaded.
Yeah, I mean,
put him on. I don't want to hit. Everything he hits, he barrels, and everything he hits goes deep into the outfield.
I'm rooting for him to get 50-50.
I am too.
He's got, I think, 47 steals, 46 homers.
The Dodgers would scare me. Anybody else in baseball, we can beat. The Dodgers scare
the thing with the Dodgers is their rotation. Like everybody's hurt.
I know.
Kershaw's on the IL. Glasnow's on the IL.
Yeah, but he'll be ready for the playoffs.
I think.
Yeah, I mean they're counting on him.
Night.
What's that?
Your Cubbies came back on
the
him.
Cubs have beaten them 2 in a row.
Here's what I keep thinking back to, Bull.
Yeah.
You remember when the Cubs were in town?
Of course. Yeah.
Bull, and it was one of the most shocking things he's ever said on this show.
Yeah.
Bull is a diehard Cubs fan.
Yeah.
He sat in that chair and said, "I'm rooting for them to get swept. They're out of the playoffs. They need to be swept."
Yeah.
You'd like to have that back.
No, it's fine.
Those are 3 big games.
They just lost their best pitcher, and they've played well. I'm happy that they're playing better.
Do they get in?
I don't think they're going to get in. They're still 4 out. I don't think they're good enough. It's not their year, and I want the Guardians to win a World Series. I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Right.
I've been here long enough. I love baseball. I love the Guardians. Listen, I'm a diehard Cubs fan, and if the Cubs make the playoffs and they get to the World Series, I'm going to root for them again against the Guardians.
You better. That's
I
your
don't
team.
want it to happen.
Right.
But I want the Guardians to win the World Series this year. I know for some people that seems crazy to think they could get to the World Series. I believe this team is capable. Now, they don't have margin for error. They can't afford to have one of their starters get hurt. Can't afford to Clase to get hurt or Ramirez. And I don't trust a lot of their bottom of the lineup. But I think they could, nobody expected it to be Arizona against Texas last year. Nobody.
That's what I keep pointing back to.
Nobody.
No one did. And what's great is you have to give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
The front office has had to reimagine the pitching staff. If I would have told you sitting here today, September 11th, if I would have told you after spring training was over that we're going to lose 4 of our starting 5 pitchers for most of the season, and the only healthy one is Ben Lively, you had us at 70 and 92 and no chance of making the playoffs.
Oh, no, I don't even know if I have that many wins.
I mean,
because
70
I had them around 500 or a little over, and I thought their only chance was their starting pitching.
And here they have reimagined their starting pitching on the fly. And, whether it's Cantillo or the acquisition of Cobb and Boyd, they've hit all the right nails.
Yeah.
And here we are. Cleveland, get behind this team. They're going to be on 13 times the rest of the season. Let's fill that damn place and get ready for October and make a playoff run and bring that excitement
Let's
back
not
into
see
Cleveland.
what happened against the Cowboys, where there were a lot of Cowboy fans there.
Yeah. Oh.
And one last thing, because I know this would have pissed you off too. Fortunately, you know what? I don't want to say fortunately because I'm pissed it didn't happen. They were not going to let Cantillo get that perfect game. They were not going to let him go for it, and it was preemptively pissing me off.
No, I think they would have let Cantillo go.
I don't think
they would. I don't think they weren't going to let Cobb go because he's on a pitch count. He was approaching the pitch count, and I was listening to it. I was on the boat, and I'm saying, there's no way he gets a perfect game because Vogt would have to come get him. So I was glad that he gave up the hit because Cobb.
Okay.
Cantillo, I'm like, he's not. I mean,
Jay, I think they still would have taken him out.
He was an emergency starter
after the game. Stephen Vogt said, I was kind of relieved that he gave up the hit. I mean, you can't be saying that.
You can't take
This
him out.
is baseball history, Jay.
But I know it's you got to.
He was over 90 pitches with the 2 outs.
I would have been furious had they removed.
I would have lost my mind because the Cubs did it with a no-hitter last week with Shota Imanaga.
I know they did.
He had a no-hitter.
No sense.
And I'm like, this is but a perfect game.
I know. And here's the other reason
one thing,
why.
a
Here's the other
game.
thing. The Guardians Indians are the franchise now the longest on the hook between no-hitters.
For Len Barker.
You have to go back to 1981.
Len Barker, perfect.
And I know Dustin remembers that well.
Yeah, absolutely. No doubt.
Dustin's over there
Len
going.
Barker.
No, dude, this is great meat and potatoes baseball talk, and I love it because
Yeah, no, you don't.
Len Barker.
If Bull wants to learn something about baseball, he'll listen to me.
That's true.
I mean, because I am the baseball.
You are the guru.
I'm the baseball
Either you
guy.
or Times. Len Barker, when I ran into him at a charity softball, I played in 2 charity softball games with Len Barker. Couldn't be a nicer guy.
Yeah, he's
and he
wonderful.
said to me, I felt like crap that morning.
Got there late got to the ballpark late. He had to pick his brother up from the airport. And
Oh,
got
never
there
told
at
me that part.
He got there at like 5:30.
Yeah.
And he's making the start at 7 o'clock.
Yeah. You know who the second longest drought is? Which team?
Well,
they have a no-hitter. Not a perfect game, even though the Guardians happen to be
I
a
don't
perfect
know. I don't know who that is.
It's the Blue Jays. It was by, I believe, Dave Steeb, who was
Steve.
a good pitcher.
Dave Steeb was the king of the 8 2/3.
Oh, he was a really good pitcher.
He lost
yeah.
4 or 5 no-hitters with 2 outs in the ninth.
Dave Steeb's one of those pitchers that if you, he's one of those pitchers that at the time, you're like, this guy's a great pitcher, not a Hall of Famer, great pitcher. And if you're a young person watching, even if you're a big baseball fan, and you're 20, you probably don't know who Dave Steeb is.
No chance.
But if you were 20 in 1990, you knew who Dave Steeb was, and he was a great. But anyway,
he was in the Cy Young category.
I wanted Cantillo. When they got that hit with 2 outs, I was so Benintendi getting the hit. I was pissed.
Yeah, and then the pass ball and then the double.
Yeah, they give up a run.
Hey, bro.
Okay.
Let's